What's up, guys? This is Heiss. Today we're out in Paso Robles, California at the beautiful Halter Ranch Railroad. It's part of the Halter Ranch Winery. This railroad features 40% scale Swiss replica trains that are absolutely incredible, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity to come out and share this experience with you guys. So let's go check them out.
Halter Ranch's history goes back 140 years, initially used for cattle ranching and grain harvesting. Since the property is purchased by Swiss entrepreneur, philanthropist, and world-leading land conservationist Hansjörg Wyss, the property has expanded to its current 2,700-acre estate with an organic vineyard, state-of-the-art production facility, tasting room, and more. Inspired by the love of trains from his homeland and having always desired his own, he ordered the construction of the Halter Ranch Railroad, which began operating in 2017. The railroad is a 15-inch gauge railroad, complete with 3 miles of track. It also features this steam locomotive built by Balsen AG in Switzerland. It's a replica of the Rhaetian Railway narrow gauge prototype built from 1904 to 1915. It's an honest-to-goodness steam locomotive that burns propane, and it's one of the coolest things I've ever gotten to see.
This thing is... you could eat off of it. It's ridiculous. I've never seen a locomotive that's shiny everywhere. And the running gear is just, that's gorgeous. Everything's smooth, beautiful, nicely machined. It hasn't been hammered on by the railroad for 70 years. Oh, it's adorable. Little screw reverse. And it's got the European style throttle, that's fun. And I've never seen sight glasses that short. Those are adorable. But it's a small boiler, so that makes sense. Those are the cutest little oil cups I think I've ever seen.
One little drop, you know. Nothing crazy, nothing special.
Providing me with a tour of this railroad is Brandon Blank, Chief Mechanical Officer and Facilities Manager. He's the man in charge of the train, which basically makes him king, more or less.
This is different than anything else I've seen on any other locomotives. How much lateral does this thing have?
It has about 2 inches of lateral played, and that allows us to navigate some of our tighter curves on the track.
Right.
You know, the track was designed around the vineyard. The vineyard wasn't designed around the track. So in order for us to accommodate where the track, traverses through the vineyard, we have some tighter curves that a traditional stiff-framed locomotive would not be able to manage.
Right.
So the locomotive was designed with this lateral play to allow us to navigate tighter curves.
That's insane. What a unique feat of engineering. We're very used to at the Colorado Railroad Museum joking about we sail the Queen Mary in a bathtub by running the K37 on the smallest narrow gauge railroad around just about. Even then, our big engine does not have that much lateral. Even on its extra lateral driver's set, it's still like an inch, if that. So that's impressive that you're talking about a significant portion of your gauge in lateral. Yep. That's crazy.
Yeah. We put the main rod, I think is the one that we bent.
Okay.
And when we put it back on, we had marked it everything, and put it back on, but when Mark Flinton came out, my friend Mark, we had pieces that clamped on here, that with dial indicators, like everything, to get it like within thousandths. Because it runs absolutely perfect.
You got to think if you're at 40% scale and the tolerance is a 32nd of an inch on the full size thing, it gets very small very quickly.
With all that in mind, it was time to see it in action.
And here we go.
That's super cool. This thing's awesome.
This is where we'll start adding water on our descent, where we'll make up most of our steam for the rest of the trip.
It's not often you see a crossing that a steam train has with a plane, basically. That's That's quite fun.
So this block 12, was specifically planted for this railroad.
Really?
So we designed the track layout to meander through this section of the vineyard, and was specifically built for this railroad.
That's super
Planted
cool.
just the way, it has a lot narrower rows. Plantings are a lot closer. It's all hand picked and hand manicured throughout the year.
I worked in transit for a good little bit after my big railroad career.
Yeah.
And there's this concept of shared use right-of-ways.
Yeah.
Not typically steam engine and car.
And off we go. We designed it with a curve so you can't see the end.
Right. Okay, so I see how this works. This is a reverse loop, basically.
Balloon loop, yeah.
Right. And so originally you had the main circle that ended at the
main
runway.
2 mile, a little bit over 2 mile main loop, and then we added this, reverse loop, into the whole ride.
That's awesome. Therein being the challenge of screw reverse, so you got to make a big adjustment.
Really?
It takes a lot of things to move.
Right.
So tell me about the cars. They're lettered as Pullman Express cars, and they're absolutely gorgeous. But what's the prototype for these beautiful cars?
So the prototype for these beautiful cars, these are actually. The Swiss have these prototypes that run on the railroad, but the Swiss actually took the idea from the American style Pullman cars.
Oh, interesting.
So the Swiss like the American style Pullman cars so much that they adapted them and built them for the Swiss railroad, and hence they have quasi American style Pullman first class cars. So that's what these are designed and built after.
The doors and everything for passengers to get in and out are interlocked with the brakes on the engine, which is...
Everything has a safety switch.
That's incredible. And then the little details, I mean, the paintwork and the lettering is gorgeous.
Paintwork, yes.
And then you look at things like the handrails and the attention to detail,
all the way,
little miniature doorknobs and everything.
I mean, all the way down to being gold plated.
It's just incredible.
Then it was my turn to take the throttle.
All right, ready?
Are you centered,
give it a little
sweetheart?
bit more. Yep, there you go.
Yep, she was centered.
Yeah.
She'll pull past it. But...
Oh yeah.
I'm so used to throttle going this way and having it kick out the other ways.
Yeah.
The feel is not there.
Operating this locomotive was an absolute honor. It was really interesting for me to get to run something that had screw reverse instead of a Johnson bar. It really helped operating that locomotive with that reverse setup on that railroad because the grade profile changes quite frequently, and having infinite cutoff positions really kept things up to snuff, kept the locomotive operating the best way it possibly could.
It's really hard to beat this railroad in terms of landscape and everything.
Oh, yeah.
It was also really neat to see all of the safety systems and interlocks that had been put in by the Swiss manufacturers. The locomotive wouldn't start and release the brakes unless you'd closed all the doors on all the cars behind you. And the fire was just managed electronically, totally by the locomotive itself, which is really, really cool to see.
hang of this.
I guess so.
Perfect. And you're hired. Like, I'm gonna take a vacation.
Sure. Yeah, you
It's
ever.
on every Friday.
Finally, it was time to meet the baby crocodile.
Where are you getting your electricity from if you don't have the pantograph up?
You never
Come
heard
on.
of static electricity?
Oh, is that
We
how?
have a static electricity generator here.
Oh.
Yeah.
So do you just go pet the cat a bunch and then?
Yeah, and then
yeah.
you can. Then I sit in there and it powers it.
Oh, there you go.
Actually, it comes from the sky.
Oh.
A big dome.
Lightning.
Yeah,
Just like that.
yeah.
So Brandon, I remember growing up reading the many different, like, this is the world of trains and railroading books that were at
Yeah.
every library.
Yep.
And it felt like, bar none, every single one of them, regardless, had a picture and details on this, the crocodile.
The crocodile.
This thing's wacky. And to see it miniaturized is really cool. Tell me about it.
Well, so this is, again, like the rest of our equipment, is a 40% scale replica of the prototype that runs in Switzerland.
Right.
And if you know or not know, this is actually what they consider, not just because this is our size, but this is what they consider a baby crocodile.
Oh, okay.
So a full-scale crocodile actually has a series of 4 drivers.
Okay.
Baby crocodile
Okay.
has 3, so, and which is the most famous. This locomotive is obviously a prototype. It runs off of a 48-volt deep cycle forklift battery. And that's what powers,
That's super smart for something
powers
like
this
this.
thing.
Yeah.
It's almost like a golf cart.
There you
Plug
go.
it in at night, it's ready to go the next day, hop in and off you go.
That is a really big benefit to an operation like this, is so that you can quickly show things off if you have some big group that comes in or
Absolutely.
whatever like that.
Absolutely.
Super cool thing. I love that the way the rods line up with the cranks and then the main rod's kind of like reversed to it. That's
Oh, yeah.
such a weird motion setup that you don't tend to see on a lot of conventional other things. But I imagine it's a torque thing, because you get
Yes.
more torque with the bigger crank there, and then you're multiplying to, okay.
Yep.
So, yeah, getting more torque out of all your electricity.
Yes, absolutely.
And the cute little working pantographs,
Yeah.
that's just like,
It's the touch that
that is just the cherry on top.
Yep,
That's
exactly.
so silly.
Cherry on top.
So I just sat down in the crocodile, and I'm first greeted with there's camera screens in this. This is the control car, or the cab car, I guess
Yes.
you'd refer to
Yep.
it as, because the crocodile itself is gorgeous. I mean, the level of detail when you really start looking at it, the amount of little precision things that they machined and did to make look just right, whether it was rivets or bolts or whatever, is amazing. But you can't really fit an operator in there too, so you drive from back here.
Yes, correct.
How does this all work?
So you have your main brake pressure here,
Okay.
speedometer, battery, obviously your camera, and then you have your master key. This will tell you when the locomotive is ready. So when all the doors are shut and all of those safety mechanisms are met, it'll tell you that it's ready. You have your front and rear panto bar, front and rear lights. Emergency mode is for when you maybe are pulling the cars in and you want to bypass that safety switch.
Okay.
You can put it in emergency bypass and run the locomotive that way.
Okay.
You have your main brake control here. You have emergency stop, your horn, forwards and backwards, and your throttle.
A lot of times the live steam stuff and the scaled down stuff has to sacrifice some of the accuracy in the prototype. But that, I mean, it really looks the part, and all the little details are there. So
Yeah.
much love went into making these things, and it's really
Yeah,
cool to see.
it's very, very unique.
It's the silliest little thing, but I love it.
Yeah.
Halter Ranch's inaugural train tour of the season is May 25th, and it's going to be open to the public. You can make reservations by checking the link down in the description below.
Brandon, thank you so much for letting me experience this locomotive and getting the opportunity to run and showing me the whole railroad. It really is a beautiful facility and a beautiful railroad, and good God, this piece of machinery is just absolutely outstanding. So thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you for coming
Much
out.
appreciated, and thank all of you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed this presentation. But we are at a winery, and so in order to celebrate this, I think there's one last thing that we need to do, and that is we need to sample some of the good stuff, I think. No rule G was violated. You have the wine after you operate the train.
Absolutely.
Oh, that is just delicious. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We'll catch y'all next time.